One thing you should notice in our templates, in particular our built-in templates, not every field code will have current client at the beginning of it, because one of the things you can do is simplify your code and separate out the current client context, as it's called, from the field code. This is particularly useful if you want to create repeating sections or just make your template code easier to read. I'm going to show you how I go about this so that when you see it in other templates like your client letter, you won't be surprised. If I decide to separate out the current client context, I'm basically creating a giant condition that says this needs to show for the current client. And now the current client is, of course, the one that you're seeing on screen. Currently, in my return, I have Martin showing on the side. So Martin is my current client, Vanessa is my current spouse, and these are other clients in the file. If I choose to go to Vanessa's return, she is now the current client. Martin is my current spouse, and there are other clients in the file. If I go to Ethan, he's my current client, and the others are just clients in the file. So it's important to understand this context when you start looking at some of the more complex templates. What I do is I create a thing and says, if this is the current client, and then of course I'm opening it and I always remember to close it. And then I can close it with that slash and have it at the end of my letter. It doesn't really change anything visually here. And then what I can do is I can do a quick replace, find this current client period, and just replace them all. And now my code has gotten significantly smaller and easier to read. You will see this in our client letters a lot. You can also simplify things by taking a portion of a field code and separating it out. So down here, if I want to, I can refer to the engagement worksheet by going engage. And of course, I'm going to close that as well and go engage, because I do that. And then I can remove out of here all of my engagement tags just to simplify that code and make it easier to read. I actually could have done engage preparer and engage preparer as well. And then remove this. Go replace. And then it all comes back again. Just to tell you that you will see this kind of structure. It also plays a role when you're doing repeating lists, like if you want to list items from a table or from a series of business statements or something like that.